Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tech Inclined. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be showing you how to create a recovery media for Mac OS X Lion. Normally, Lion is only available through the Mac App Store, and it can only be installed from the Mac App Store on top of an operating system such as Snow Leopard. However, this presents a couple different problems. A, if your computer's hard drive fails and you're outside of your AppleCare warranty, you have no choice but either to service the hard drive yourself by replacing it, or bring it to an Apple store and then pay out the rear for their support outside of warranty. Or you might be a system administrator who wants to install Mac OS X Lion on multiple machines, or you might simply be wanting to upgrade your hard drive from a smaller drive to a larger drive, or move to a new Mac that doesn't have Mac OS X Lion. Well, it's pretty simple to install Mac OS X from a USB drive, and it's also pretty simple to put it onto a USB drive or a disk. Basically, we're going to be taking the installation media off from the app file that's included with the Mac OS X download from the Mac App Store. Now, in order to do this, you'll need to either back up this app file to a USB drive, just copy the app to a folder somewhere, or back it up using Time Machine and then restore it afterwards, or do this before you install Mac OS X Lion. The reason why that is because once you install Mac OS X Lion, as soon as it finishes the installation, it deletes this file, and you have to re-download it from the Mac App Store before you can proceed. So make sure you save this file somewhere. It's not going to be deleted by Mac OS X after you install it. So basically, we're going to take the app file, and we're going to right-click on it, and say Show Package Contents. Now, there's only one folder in there. It's called Contents, so we're going to go and open that. And then we're going to go into Shared Support. And there's a file in here called installesd.dmg. Now what this is the recovery image for Mac OS X that it uses to recover your Mac off from your existing hard drive when you have some kind of failure that's software related. You can simply hold down the Alt key and it'll boot into the recovery partition if you tell it to. That lets you reinstall Mac OS X if your hard drive's okay and you've already installed it. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to burn this onto a USB drive using disk utility, and we're also going to burn it to an external DVD as well using the super drive that's in my Mac. So now normally you can burn this to disk using practically any burning program that reads DMG files such as Nero, Burn, Liquid CD, any of those applications that are out there for free or paid that will burn DMG images. You can use that and it will work just fine. However, we're going to use disk utility today just because everybody's got it and it's free and it's included with Mac OS X for pretty much every version. So we're going to go and open up disk utility. So we're going to go to Mac OS X hard drive, Applications, Utilities, and then right here is our disk utility application. Now, that's going to load up. Now you can see that I have a USB hard drive attached. It's a 500 gig. You don't need nearly that much space, but it's the only thing I had laying around. And I've also got a disk in my super drive as well. Now we're going to take this installesd.dmg file and we're going to copy it to the list on the left over here. And then it'll show up over here. Now to burn it to CD, this is what you do. Right click and burn. Now what that's going to do is it's going to prep it up to be burned to a super drive. Once that's finished, and it says it's ready to burn when you got the disk in it, the tray, just go ahead and hit burn, and then it will put it onto a DVD for you. So we're going to cancel that out because I've already done that part. Now, if you want to, you can also restore it onto a USB drive, like I said before. So if you want to, simply take the partition that you've got in your drive. Now, first of all, you need to make sure this is a Mac OS X journal, so we're going to format it correctly first. So go to the partition tab on the drive itself. You can make this whatever split you want. If you want to just make a certain partition, Mac OS X Lion, using two partitions you can. I'm just going to go for simplicity and make one. Mac OS X journal. Name it Lion. You don't have to name it Lion, but you can name it whatever you want. Go to Options and make sure you have GUID partition table selected. Otherwise, it won't be bootable by your Mac. Hit OK. And then hit Apply. and then hit partition. It's going to wipe the drive out. Obviously, before you do this, you're going to want to make sure you back the data up off from it because it's going to wipe the entire drive out. And that'll take just a minute to finish, and when it finishes formatting the disk, then we're going to restore the Lion image onto it. So I was thinking about it for just a little bit here. It's a rather large drive, so it'll take a few seconds. And now it's finished partitioning it. So we're going to go ahead and restore the image onto it. So we're going to click on the image that we copied over here. We're going to go Images, Scan Image for Restore. Punch in your password. And then it's going to go through and check it. So when that's all done, we'll be back. Alright guys, we're back. The installation ESD scan completed for the image recovery prep stuff. So now we just got to go ahead and hit restore. And it'll ask, are we sure we want to wipe it out? Yeah, we'll just go ahead and hit erase. And then once we hit erase, then it's going to go ahead and bring up a dialog that will begin wiping out the hard drive. So you're going to type in your password. And then it'll start doing it. That should take a little bit to do. Once that finishes copying the blocks over one by one to the recovery media that you're choosing, then we'll be good to go. So I'll go ahead and take another break here and we'll be right back. Alright guys, as you can see, it's finished. And I've got my Mac OS X install ESD. So I'm going to go ahead and close out a disk utility now. And we don't need this anymore. Now you can see that there's now a Mac OS X installed ESD as well on the desktop. That's because I have drives shown. And if you open it, you can see that there is also a Mac OS X install.app now in here, as well as all the dependencies and stuff. This basically means that it's successful, and you can either A, upgrade an existing operating system from here, or you can boot into it using the hold down the Alt option and key when your computer is starting up. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, at this point I've got my computer still booted up into Mac OS X. I'm going to go ahead and boot off from the external recovery media we created, which is the disk drive here. So let's go ahead and restart my machine. And the machine will shut down. As soon as it begins to boot up, what we're going to do is the key that says Alt Option. We're going to hold that down so that we can tell it what drive we want to boot off from. So I'm holding the key now. The machine will boot up just to a white screen, and it'll sit here for a little bit thinking about it as it probes all the available hard drives and storage media. Alright, and now you'll see that we've got a couple options here. This one here is Mac OS X, which is the one that's currently installed on my hard drive. This is Windows, unless you have Boot Camp, you won't see that one. This is the recovery hard drive for Lion. If you haven't installed Lion, you won't see that one either. The one you're concerned about, though, this will either be the picture of a disk or it'll be a hard drive like this. And it says Mac OS X on it, so you're going to arrow over to that and hit enter. The machine will boot up to that external media. You'll start seeing your disk start to flash there, showing that it's got activity. And it'll sit there and spin for a little while. It's got to load all 3.7 gigabytes of information, or at least what's necessary to boot the operating system. And you'll see the graphene background in your mouse pointer. Alright, and there we go. Now you'll get the usual Mac OS X utilities bar, the bar up there, and then you'll see over here it says Mac OS 10 utilities, restore from time machine backup, reinstall Mac OS 10, get help online, and disk utility. Disk utility, you can use to format new hard drives, and then the reinstall Mac OS 10 option is for installing Mac OS 10. So there you have it. Creating a recovery media for Mac OS 10 Lion so you can reinstall it. Please comment and rate the video and like it if you liked it. And as always, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. Thanks guys, have a good day.